Hello, today I'd like to show you how to model this soda can in Blender 2.79. I'll be showing you how to model, texture, and light this scene as well as render it. So let's get started. First, open Blender and change the render engine to Cycles Render. Delete this cube. Press N to open this tab. Click Background Images and open your reference images. Mine are going to be in the links in the description. You can download them. So let's open the front view. Hit 1 and 5 on the number pad. Okay, looks good. Now let's select front view. So it's only in the front view. Hit 3. Okay, let's add another image. It's going to be the top. Let's open up the top. Hit 7. Actually, set this to all views, and let's scale this to the proportion that we need it. So that looks about right. So you can just go ahead and copy these. That should work for you. And set that to top view. All right. So now let's create a cylinder. Scale it up to the width of the can. Then hit S and Z to scale up the height of the can. Go to edit mode by hitting tab. Select this bottom face and move it down, and then hit E to extrude, bring it down, hit S to scale, hit E to extrude, and bring it down again. Okay. Hit E to extrude and bring it in a little bit, hit E again and bring it up and scale it in. Alright, now let's work on the top. Hit E to extrude, bring it up, scale it in, hit E to extrude and bring it up again, about there, hit E to extrude and bring it up, then select all these edges, hit E to extrude and hit Shift Z, and scale them outward. Then select this front face, go into top view. Oh, let's align the image. So under the top image, bring it down. Looks pretty good. Maybe let's just try 0.21. Negative 0.21. Okay, hit Z. And we're going to, I think that's right on this edge. Yeah. So just for the easier access, let's just have that and hit W and select inverse and then hit H to hide them. Go back into front view, top view. And now we have just this face selected. Hit E, extrude it inwards a little bit. Go to 1 and bring it down just a little bit. Go hit 7, top view, hit E, extrude in a little bit, then hit E again, go to front view and bring this up. Top view, hit E, S. Okay, so now we're going to line this edge up with this rim that goes around the can. Select these two and hit S and scale them inwards, right to the outside edge of this lip. S, S, just do that all the way around. Okay, just line them up a little better. Okay, that's good enough. Oh, except for this one. Okay, that looks pretty good. Just make sure they're kind of like straighter. So hit E and extrude them and scale it in a little bit. Hit S and Y to kind of get about an even, or S, yeah, and Y, and kind of get an even scale. So the edge is about the same thickness. And then go into front view and bring that down just a little bit. Okay, that looks pretty good. Let's hit E again. Scale this in just a little bit. We're going to align this with this edge down here. So you can just go ahead and deselect these edges. Hit S and X, bring it in, and just fix these two. Oops. Oh, I forgot this one when I did that. So S, X. X right there. And these two a little bit in. That's pretty good. Alright. Now we're going to cut this face. Okay. Oh, let me turn on screencast. Okay, now you can see it down here. We're going to cut it this way as well. We're going to cut one up here and one down here. That way we can bend this without too much deformation. So let's go ahead and select these edges where where the coat can's gonna open up. And select mesh, transform. No, edges, edge split. Then just select these two front faces. And now you can see these are separate. Even these faces too. And then go into active element, go to vertice, and then unselect this one and reselect it. So now your pivot point is right there. Hit 3 and rotate it down a little bit. So now the coat can is open. All right, and then just a little bit more. Let's go ahead and go to normals and hit E. Go out of this active element and go to median and hit S and scale this in just a little bit. Then hit E again and S again. Now let's select this face. Actually, just bring that in just a little bit. Yeah, just like that. There we go. All right. So now the coat can looks good. Let's go ahead and add a bevel, and let's work on this bevel. So the width 2.01, segments to 3. The weight, or the limit method to weight. So now hit Alt H, unhide all those, go into edit mode and select all these edges that I'm going to select. We want these edges to be a little bit sharper and have like a little bit more detail. So this one and this one, and we're going to go up to the top and hit mean bevel weight and bring that to 1. You can't see that really yet, so let's add a subdivision surface after our bevel. And now you can kind of see how that makes it look a little bit nicer. Smooth. Okay. This tab looks a little bit funky. Yeah, it still looks a little funky. Oh, that's fine. We could fix it, but I think for the tutorial that's fine enough. You won't really see it with all the textures and stuff. So let's just go back into what we were doing. Let's add another, click that edge loop right there, click this edge loop right here, click the edge loop under here, click the edge loop on the bottom. Oops, I deselected those. So reselect all these edges. Reselect this edge and go into bevel weight 1. Looks pretty good. I might just select these edges and bring this face upwards a little bit. I think it's, yeah, bring it up just a tiny bit so we can see this edge a little better. Okay, and now we gotta get the shape of the can right. So let's select this, add a crease just to kind of get this about right. It looks pretty good. We might add an edge loop and an edge. Let's add like 4 or 5 edge loops down here. That way we can bring this weight down just a little bit to about 0.5. I don't want to create it too high poly, keep it still low, so you might want to delete. You can dissolve some of these edges if you don't really want them. Okay, now the bottom of the can, let's go ahead and do 0.5. Add an edge loop. Add an edge loop. That will work. Oh, select this edge and put the bevel on there. Actually, that edge does not have a bevel. So take that bevel off and do a crease of 0.5, just to give it a little bit more of like a cut line to it. So it looks like the good can. Now, go to top view. You can just hide that by hitting H. Let's add a plane. Hit Z and S and X. Kind of line it up a little bit. And we're going to put a couple edge loops in here. Let's create one at a time. So create one and move it to about where we're going to create this. So we want 4 roughly like this. So we can kind of delete this square. We're going to put a couple edge loops in here and a couple edge loops in here. So you can round this out. And same for down here. So wherever you think you're going to need to round it out at. 1 for the curve, 1 for this edge, 1 for where it starts to curve. Then we're also going to cut down here. So we're going to need one where the cut starts, one where it ends. Okay, so I'm just going to move all these vertices where we're going to need them. So let's go ahead and start moving them. Not worried about it being too perfect. Just keep moving them. This one should probably be up here a little bit. Gonna have to move them later, but for now, just till we cut this edge out. Select these and hit SY0 to kind of just straighten them out, just to help you keep everything kind of like lined up, make it a little easier. Okay, let's go ahead and delete these faces up here. Delete. We might have to line these up a little bit more. Looks pretty good. Good enough, really. We're going to do another edge split. So just line this up along that so we can split this edge. So select these edges. Let's straighten this one out first. SX0, SX0. So that's looking pretty good. So select these edges and go to Mesh, Edges, Edge Split, and select these faces. Actually, yeah, just select all these faces actually and hit E. Let's extrude this upwards really quick. We have a thickness now. It's pretty good. Hit Control 2 to put a subdivision surface of 2 on there. And now you can kind of see that this is going to change a little bit. So click this over here, and you can kind of see where your vertices are. And we're going to want to move these ones downward a little bit. Maybe these ones like in a little bit. I mean, it'll work. It's still okay. Okay, it's good enough. So you can kind of see how that split that. So let's go ahead and select these, hit Control plus, and then Control minus. So it has all that selected. Hit W, select inverse. Then go to active element, and click this vertice. So now this vertice is the pivot point. So hit 3 and rotate, actually, this pivot point right there. Hit 3 and rotate it. There you go. So now we have this. Go ahead and hit smooth. You can kind of straighten these up a little bit just to fix them. So they are a little crooked. Go back to global. Yeah, so before you rotate it, just kind of fix these edges up so they're kind of smoother. That way you'll have a little bit nicer topology and better mesh. But I'm not going to worry about it too much. If this was like a full, like you can take your time, but just kind of rushing through it. So we have that. We can just hit Control R and go around the edge loops. And that's pretty much a Coke can tab. So now we can go ahead and hit Alt H and bring everything back and bring the tab up. Go in side view. Just kind of line it up with that top face. And slide it over a little bit. All right, that looks pretty good. We're gonna add the little cylinder that goes right here, just for like a little finisher. And another little thing you can do is just have that face selected and have this other face selected, or edge selected, and go to bevel, weight, bring this up, put 3.01. That way this thing will look nice when you hit Control 2, smooth it out, just looks a little bit nicer. You can actually control so we'll just leave it like that. It's just a little small piece that kind of keeps this whole thing where the pivot point is. So that's okay. I'm actually just going to join these two together with Control J. Well, probably don't do that. That'll make it harder for you. Just leave them how they are. Yeah, I would just leave them how they are. It's a little bit easier for you. So, I actually don't like it with the bevel, so I'm just going to go ahead and add an edge loop. I'm going to do that. I just like that look a little better. It looks a little bit smoother. Yeah, it just looks a little bit smoother. And you can crank this up to 3 if you want it to be a little bit smoother too. Since we didn't really take our time and clean it up, 3 will just make it look a little bit smoother. So how did that look on 3? Not that much better. Okay, just leave it the way it is. You can add edge loops here to just clean this edge up, because I don't really like the way it looks with this crease. Just do like 0.25. I don't really want a hard crease there. So add another edge loop and do 0.25. Just preference. You could leave it and keep your topology really low, but I like it that way. So let's go ahead and create some materials. Let's call this one aluminum. Did I spell that right? No, I did not. Aluminum. Close enough, whatever. Let's go to principled. Put the color all the way up. So all these are about at 1, and you're going to bring them down to about somewhere between like 0.7 and 0.8. Just somewhere in there. That'll work. And then bring the roughness to like 0.2. And metallic all the way up. And that should work. You can't really tell what it is right now. So go ahead and apply it to all the rest of the objects. Aluminum, aluminum. And before we texture this, let's add a lighting in HDRI. So go ahead and delete this lamp. We don't need it. Go to the world settings, world tab, hit nodes. On color, click this little dot and put in an environment texture and open up your texture that's in the description or your own. And there you go. So that is a quick way to just set that up. So now let's go and hit 1, hit Control A, and hit the plane. Yes, because I don't want to see the environment texture. I want to create my own studio and make it look like it's lighting it. So under ray visibility, remove that from the camera so that it'll be black, but it still has all the lights. That's what you want anyway. So go into edit mode and create your own little studio. Bring this up right here, select that. Actually, we'll just go ahead and add a modifier, the subdivision surface. Put it on 2, hit smooth, S, X, bring this up. And then, because it kind of curves right here, let's just put another loop cut right before this can. That way it stays smooth where the can is. Scale that up a little bit more. Okay, let's also move the camera. So click on the camera, set the rotation of the X to 90, the rotation of the Z to 90, or actually the Z to 0. We're going to try to get it to face the can. So select X0 on location and Y0 and Z25. All right, no, Z0, Y25, negative 25. There we go. Hit 0. There you go. It opens it up. Ooh, don't overwrite something else. Just save your file as can or something. Okay. So now we have this open right here. Let's go ahead and click back on the can and hit /. So now all you can see is the can. Select this edge loop and this edge loop, and then hit Control+. And try to get all of this right here. Actually, you want more. You want all the way up to there. So you want all those edges selected. Yeah, keep it like that. Let's go to front view, and let's go ahead and bring this out like this, and bring up the UV. So we're going to unwrap this. So just hit unwrap. Don't hit unwrap. Hit U and hit cylinder. Actually, try U and hit sphere. So sphere will work fine. So under materials, let's create a new material. With the can selected, hit this little plus. Hit new. Go into, actually, let's reuse the one we had. So go in here and click on plus. So now we have 2. Wait. Did it create 2? There you go. Now click aluminum. Then click plus. There we go. Now we have two. Click this one and do label. Under base color, click image and open up the image of the label. Okay. Now we can open up this right here. You can see it's not on there. That is because we need to assign it. There we go. So that's assigned. Hit S and hit Z, or S, there's no Z. So in UVs, there's only X and a Y. So X is the width and Y is the height. So hit S, Y. And GY to move it down. Doesn't be perfect. Yeah, it doesn't be perfect. The texture isn't even all that great. So now we have all of that selected for the can, which looks okay. That looks pretty good. Okay. Now I'm not sure if all the rest is the aluminum texture. It should be, but let's just go ahead and hit W, select inverse, go to aluminum, and hit assign. That way it for sure is. Okay. Now hit / again. Oops. Yeah, hit / to bring everything back. Go to front view. There's your can. For this background, just hit new and just create a diffuse material so we can see just the diffuse. Now go to scene settings. Or render settings and set your resolution to your max resolution. I'm going to set mine to 2560 by 1440. Crank this up to 100, or if you just want to do a test render, leave it at 50. Do sampling. Sample, you could probably leave it at like 150. It should be fine. Your clamp, usually set this to 1 so that it reduces some fireflies that might show up. Clamp in, indirect, 1 if you want to do that. If you have fireflies, I don't know. Okay, that looks pretty good. Then, I think that's it. That aluminum looks pretty good, I think. I think that's pretty much it. So let's go ahead and, yeah, that looks like that's it. Oh, so let's go ahead and do the color management. I'm just trying it out. So under scene, go to color management and do filmic. And then let's try ambient occlusion of 0.25. I'm just curious. Maybe just 0.1. Just adds a little bit of shadow depth and stuff like that. I think it looks better like that. You don't have to add those if you don't want to. I think that looks pretty good. So let's go ahead and render this out. If you use a better HDRI, you will have better results, better shadows, your metals will look more realistic. And you can find those like on polygon.com, or just search HDRI textures, and then under settings click large in Google, and you'll be able to find some pretty good ones. So it looks pretty good, but I think under the label, let's change this roughness to 0.1. I think that'll look a little better. I think the colors of the can and everything look pretty good. So just do a couple little touches. I'm gonna go ahead and select edge. Actually, I'm gonna select these top two edges. Actually, just this, just this edge and scale it out just a little bit. And this bottom edge there and scale it out a little bit. Okay. These have this. I think I want to try it with this weight on there, just to give it a little bit of a sharper edge. I think it looks a little better. Maybe we can even, oops. Oh, we already have that on there. That's good. Okay. So you could just select these smaller pieces. Select the big piece by holding shift, and then I don't think that worked. Yeah, it did. Okay. Then hit Control P and select set parent to object. So now they're all one piece. So go to front view and duplicate it. G, Shift Z, and that'll let you move it just on the Z axis. You can put it wherever you want. Oops. You just select all of this. D, move it over. Front view, R90. Bring this down. R45. G, boom. Dang. That looks weird. Rotate it a little bit more. How about like R45? There we go. He's just getting some weird reflections. Still is. But yeah, that's it. So go ahead and render all that out, and you'll have your final image. Thanks for watching. Bye.